Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are working on another really cute hair scrunchie. This one is called the Jiffy Stitch Scrunchie since we will be using the Jiffy Stitch for this project. So come along and let's get started. Okay, so today we're going to go ahead and use this I Love This Cotton yarn. They have a lot of different colors. This one I really liked the gray hue to it, and as I turn it over here you'll see that it is the color Dove, and it has a really nice texture. It's very soft, and I decided to go ahead and try this for the scrunchies today. And we're going to use this Yarnology crochet hook. I saw this over at Hobby Lobby and wanted to give it a try. It has a really nice thick plastic hook and a really nice ergonomic rubber handle, so I want to see how it does and see if I like it. So let's go ahead and grab our stuff and get started. Okay, so the very first thing that you're going to need to do is make sure you have a rubber band similar to this. This is one of those ones that don't get caught in your hair, and I think that the stretch is probably really good on these, probably better than a regular rubber band, so I would recommend these highly. So what you're going to do first is put your yarn through the band, and then you're going to tie and make a knot just like this. When you're finished, I want you to grab your hook. You'll notice that the yarn is coming up off of the knot here. You're going to take your hook, yarn under the yarn, and then bring that through the band. Grab your yarn, pull it through, and then you'll have 2 loops on the hook. In the 2 loops you're going to make and finish it off as a single crochet. That will count as your very first single crochet of the row. And now we're going to make 23 more single crochets inside the band. Okay, so now I finished off and I have 24. You'll notice this is still showing, so what you need to do is pull your stitches around until the band is no longer showing. Okay, and then when you have it pretty close, you're going to go up underneath this space right here. The leg and the front is right here, so it's a little bit hidden. You'll have to grab it and pull it up. And under that first V right here, you're going to go underneath and through that V, like so. You're going to grab your yarn, pull it through, and finish off with a slip knot. So that should bring all of your yarn around the band and make it exactly as it needs to be. Now we're going to go ahead and create the Jiffy Stitch for this scrunchie. I want you to chain 2, and in the same space right here where you made your slip stitch, you're going to make a double crochet. And then you're going to chain 2. And then that same space down here where you made the slip stitch, you're going to make 1 single crochet. And that will finish off the first Jiffy cluster. Now we're going to skip 1 space, and in the next space we're going to do it all over again. We're going to make 2 double crochets, not in this one, move over to this one, 2 double crochets, then we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to finish it off in the same space with a single crochet. And then we're going to skip the next space, and in the space next to it we're going to make 2 double crochets, and then we're going to chain 2, and then work your single crochet in that same space below to finish off the next cluster. And then we're going to skip the next space. In the following space we're going to make 2 double crochets, chain 2, and single crochet in that space. Skip the next space, in the space next to it 2 double crochets. Two chains, single crochet in the space below. Now that is what your pattern is going to be all the way around, and that's the cluster. 2 double crochets, chain 2, 1 single crochet, all in the same space. And make sure that between your clusters you're skipping 1 space, otherwise it's not going to come out correctly. So I'm going to have you finish off the row pretty much by yourself, and when we get down here to these last few I'm going to meet you back here and we'll finish it off together. Okay, so as you'll see I have 3 more spaces here. The 2 spaces here are going to be skipped. The one in the center is the last one to be worked in. So we're going to make 1 last cluster right inside that space right there. Two double crochets, chain 2, and a single crochet right in that space. And then you'll notice that the cluster, when they come together, they stop right here. So what you want to do is when you attach your yarn here with the slip stitch, you want to make sure that it's even with this. So take your hook and just lay it across even with where this cluster ends here, and that will tell you right over here where you're going to put your next stitch. So that's where we're going to join. So we want to put it right about here inside the chain that we started with. And finish it off with a slip stitch, and now it's exactly as it should be. Now you can stop here if you like how big this is right now, or we can do 1 more row, and if you want to do 1 more row, go ahead and stay here and I'll show you how to do it. Alright, so to continue you're going to go ahead and chain 1, turn your work, and then in all of the chain 2 spaces that we made in our clusters, that's where we're going to be making our next row, and we'll work a cluster in each chain 2 space. So first what we're going to do is slip stitch all the way over here into this first chain 2 space. That way our yarn is right where we need it to be to start this new row. And now you're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then make 1 double crochet in that same chain 2 space, and then chain 2, and then finish it off with a single crochet inside that same space. And then moving on, we're going to make the cluster again right inside the chain 2 space of the next cluster. 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then a single crochet in the same space to finish off the cluster. And then that's all there is to it. So go ahead and make your clusters all the way around inside of the chain 2 spaces, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so now that you're at the very end, this is the very first stitch that we made at the beginning of the row. What we're going to go ahead and do is, again, we want to make sure that our attachment here is going to be level with this one. So put your hook right across like this, and that will give you the perfect area to attach. So right about this chain, right space right here, if you can see it. And just attach it with a slip stitch, and you are finished. Now we're going to go ahead and cut the yarn and hide our ends. Alright, so now we need to go ahead and pull our yarn. 1, 2. Pull it through twice and press it down so that it knots in place. You should be able to have a knot right there at the base. You may have to push it down with your fingernail. Okay, so now what we're going to do is hide our ends. I recommend having a yarn needle that has a fairly big eye on it, but also has a very sharp pointy end on the other side, because sometimes if it's too blunt it won't go through your yarn, and I'm not exactly sure how a blunt needle will go through cotton, so we're going to go ahead and do it like this. Alright, so grab an end, it doesn't matter which one, yarn your needle, and then we're going to just take our needle through some spaces here. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to go back and forth on it like this, randomly wherever we can get it, about 3 times. Random spots so that we don't go through the same space that we went through before, otherwise we'll wind up pulling our yarn back out. Alright, so that one's finished. I'm going to go ahead and snip this off at the base. And move on to the next end. Let's go ahead and yarn your needle again. And then we'll do the same thing we did before, just randomly placing our needle through spots within our stitches. Remember, don't go back underneath there because it'll just pull the yarn out. So come around here, maybe go up this side. That. And then back down through, maybe right here. And that should be good. So that's about 3 times. We're done with our needle. Now we're just going to snip off this yarn at the base here. Careful not to cut your stitches. And that's it. And either way, whether you stop at the first row or if you make the second row, this is going to be a really cute hair scrunchie for anyone. And one thing that I used to do a long time ago was when my daughters were in school, I would make these for Spirit Week. And they would wear them with their school colors. So there's some ideas for these. You can also put beads on the yarn and then add the beads in as you're crocheting to give it a little bit extra pizzazz if you want. And they are really, really cute. You can make them any color you want. You can wear more than 2 or 3 in your hair at one time if you want to. It just depends on what your preferences are. So anyway, guys, thank you for joining me today. I hope that you'll make this cute little hair scrunchie and make a whole bunch of them. If you liked this video today, please go below and hit the like button. And then if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit subscribe and hit the all bell icon so that you can get all of the future videos coming with all of the new tutorials that I'm going to put out. So until next time, guys, have a great day and we'll see you soon.